What is up, YouTube? So, this is going to be my second Adizero review. I just did one on the Adizero Prime X Parley. If you want to see that, that is linked below. So the history on the shoe is very simple. It's in the name of the shoe. It's Adizero Sub 2. It's pretty odd that Adidas would decide to do something similar to what Nike did with the Sub 2 marathon campaign, but really do it in a really subpar way. All they did was release a shoe, no fanfare, no marketing, none of that. Whereas really Nike did it up. But one of the most interesting things about this is that this is the introduction of a new Boost technology called Boost Light, which is a lighter version of Boost. So looking at the React technology or the Hover technology from Under Armour, we know that those are significantly lighter than the Boost versions, and the Ultra Boost is almost, a lot of times almost, I'd say like 80% heavier than the counterpart for React. And so it's a very big difference and a huge game changer to finally bring Boost down to a much more manageable weight. But before we get started, if you can, hit the subscribe button if you like my content. Plenty of other videos that you can watch now on many other different types of shoes. In addition to that, if you like this video, at the end of it, definitely give me a thumbs up if you found it interesting. Or if you hate me and you just want to spite me, still give me a thumbs up. Let's take a look at the upper. So the upper, for the most part, is made out of a very, very light mesh. You can actually see through most of it if you put your finger through here. I'm not sure if you can see it through my hand. But for the most part, you can basically see through that mesh material, and that covers all along most of the shoe. There are some reinforced parts closer to the heel or the collar over here, but other than that, it's a very thin piece of mesh that kind of goes along it, and there's definitely ventilation holes or ventilation parts that are a little thinner all throughout the shoe. So looking at it over here for breathability, as well as over here for breathability. In addition to that, on the upper, there is also a heel counter, which looks very similar to the rest of the shoe, but it is a heel counter that's significantly stiffer. Three stripes are done in a print on white over here. And then finally, it says Adizero Sub 2 over here in white. And then on the medial side, there's one stripe over here in a glossy black that also says Adizero. So the upper of the shoe is very simple. The lacing is also done in a sports style thin flat lacing over here, and the tongue is actually a detached tongue. Moving to the more interesting piece, which is the Boost Light, you can tell that this is a completely different construction than the typical Boost shoe. So looking along the Boost, it's not that styrofoamy. It looks like styrofoam, but it looks like styrofoam that's uniform, so there's not those jagged edges or those bubbles that you would normally see. This is actually pretty rough. It feels kind of like sandpaper, but it's still very smooth compared to a piece of Boost. And really just kind of pressing down on it, it's a completely different technology. I actually don't know if they license this from BASF or BASF. BASF is who they license Boost from. This feels so different. This actually does feel like a hard styrofoam, whereas like Boost feels like rubber and when it bounces back. I don't feel that same energy return just by doing that. On the bottom of the shoe, it's made out of a full Continental sole, so instead of having those perforations or holes in the bottom where you can see through the Boost, you actually can't do that with this Continental sole. It's completely one piece, and that's done in a gray, and you can see the Continental logo over there. So what are my thoughts on this shoe? I don't really like them. I actually don't like them at all. But just from a pure comfort perspective and kind of a lifestyle perspective, these suck. The sole is really not better than any technology that's out there. I definitely recommend the Adizero Prime or the Ultra Boost if you're into Boost still. I don't think it's worth the weight reduction when it comes down to what we're getting here. The other thing that I really don't like is really the upper. It's really bad. It feels super cheap. I know you can't really tell on camera, but this feels like it's Skechers. And if you're going to look for this kind of really lightweight shoe that's very minimalistic, I would actually recommend the Hover Sonic, which has a lot of the properties that you would want from a shoe like this. In a lightweight form, extremely great for runners, but it has an energy return and a really great cushioning compared to, I'd say, the Boost Light. And then in terms of sizing, I actually went true to size here. So normally I'm a 7.5, and I went with 7.5 in my Adidas size, and it fits perfectly. Same size that I use with Adizero, my Adizero Prime, as well as the Ultra Boost 4.0. And that's it. If you guys have bought this shoe and run with it and think it's an amazing shoe for running, would really love to know. And I would more than likely, hopefully, have people who watch this have something in the comments to vouch for the running. So it'd be great if you could leave a comment below. But other than that, like I said, subscribe to my channel if you thought this was good. Definitely give it a thumbs up. And until next time, this is the Adizero Sub 2. Peace.